On Thanksgiving Day, after we had our big meal and we visited with friends and family for a little while, we settled in and we watched the movie Christopher Robin. Recently released Disney movie Christopher Robin. How many of you have seen the movie? Yeah, quite a few. I don't want to spoil it for anybody, but the movie is about a grown-up Christopher Robin. Christopher Robin, if you're not familiar, is A.J. Milne's character who had his playmates, Winnie the Pooh and Tigger and Eeyore and all of those playmates in the 100 Acre Wood. And this story is about a grown-up Christopher Robin who is now living in London, and he has a corporate job and he has a family and he's busy and he's working and he's all consumed by his job and worried about his making money and worried about losing his job and all of these things that none of us ever have to worry about. But he's consumed with that, and he's lost sight of, forgotten all about the 100 Acre Wood and the magic and the mystery and the wonder of being a child. And, through a series of events, of course, he's able to recover that, and I don't want to ruin it for you. I don't think that ruins it for you, but you probably could figure that out already. But it was a great reminder for me. It touched something deep within me that I feel like sometimes I'm the grown-up Christopher Robin, that I'm too worried about stuff in the world, about all this adult stuff that we have to worry about and not as connected with that childlike self that I really want to be connected with, and how important it is for us to reconnect, to be connected with the child within us. I don't want to get into a whole lot of psychobabble or anything, but that inner child, that we all have, and how important it is for us to stay connected to the joy and to the wonder and the innocence of who we are, really, who we're born to be. So, I'm looking at sometimes, and I hesitate to admit this, but sometimes I sound like an old man saying, "Oh, didn't we just do Christmas? Didn't we just take the tree down?" And two, it's like, I'll just be glad when it's over. I don't want to be that guy. When did I turn into my dad? That's not who I want to be. I want to be in touch with that kid. I want to be in touch with this guy, this little guy, who is sitting on Santa's lap, probably a little nervous, knowing me. But see, I started with the haircut today, getting reconnected with that little guy. But yeah, just really recapturing that, and you can take that off now. It's okay. Everybody has seen it. But it reminded me of when what did I miss? It reminded me of something that of my own childhood. When I was a kid, I grew up in Georgia, in a fairly small town. And we had like 2 television stations. This was in the 60s. I was growing up in the mid to late 60s, and we had this television show every afternoon on WFAA, Channel 6 from Augusta, Georgia. There was this television show called The Trooper Terry Show. And Trooper Terry I think he was also the local weatherman. But Trooper Terry wore the highway patrol outfit. He had the hat and the uniform and everything, and he would do the program kind of like our local Mr. Rogers or our local Captain Kangaroo, because we didn't have PBS PBS station when I was growing up, so I didn't even know who Mr. Rogers was. But every afternoon, I would come home, I would get my homework done as fast as I possibly could so I could sit in front of the television and watch the Trooper Terry Show. Especially around Christmas, because during the Christmas season, Trooper Terry had this special program. He had this special thing that he would do. He would go and visit Santa Claus at the North Pole every day. He had this special machine that allowed him to be transported from Augusta, Georgia to the North Pole. Can you imagine? So every day during Christmas, he would put a finger aside of his nose and nod his head, and then he would go spinning and spinning and spinning, and all of a sudden, boom, he would be at the North Pole, and Santa Claus would be there. And Santa Claus would read letters that we as children had sent to him in care of WFAA Channel 6 in Augusta, Georgia. How did that happen? It was a miracle. I don't know that he ever read my letter. I don't remember him reading my letter on the air. But I know that Santa Claus got my letter because I got everything I wanted. Pretty much, yes, I was a spoiled little boy. I'll admit it. Still am to some extent. But yeah, it was like that. And how we as children would just anticipate Santa Claus coming on Christmas morning. It was hard to go to sleep at night because we just knew when we wake up in the morning, we were going to wake up and there were going to be all the stuff. I even put out fruitcake and milk for Santa. I know that sounds kind of gross, but my mother made the best homemade fruitcake you ever had, according to me. And Santa always ate it. And so it was that energy, that excitement about Christmas and about the anticipation and the wonder and the magic of Santa Claus. And I want to recapture that, not necessarily about Santa Claus, but what I really believe is the true essence and the true message of Christmas, which you heard part of in the reading from the Unity magazine. And that really is what I believe Advent is about. It's about the arrival. Advent is about the coming into being, the arrival of something. And so Advent and Christmas for us is about coming into being of the Christ within us, awakening to the Christ energy, the Christ light, the truth of who we are, and coming into that awareness, and not just a mental awareness, but a realization of our Christ light, the truth of us, the true light that enlightens everyone that has come into the world as you and as me. And it's our opportunity to be it, to give birth to it in the world. That's what Advent and Christmas is really about for us in Unity. And that's what I want to focus on during the Advent season. I want to encourage us all to do that from that childlike place. Just like we might have been that energy, that place of excitement and wonder about Santa Claus. Can we have that same energy about awakening to and being the essence of the Christ in the world? Right? So what are some of those qualities? Well, first, I think it begins with belief. Now, this is the first Sunday of Advent. It's about faith. It's about believing. Believing. I, as a child, fully believed that Trooper Terry could visit the North Pole and visit Santa Claus. I believed that. It was real to me. Can I have that same belief, that same knowing, a truth without a doubt that the Christ is the truth of my being, and I can give it birth? I can embody that divine light and be it in the world, believing without a shadow of a doubt You know, Jesus said, "Ye of little faith," when his disciples couldn't heal this young boy of his affliction. "I believe." He said, "I believe, Lord, help my unbelief." And our unbelief is about our limited thinking. What if there was no limit? What if we let go of the idea that we can only go so far? What if we let go of the idea that I can't be that, it's only Jesus that can be that? What if we let go of that? What if we realize there is no ceiling, there is no limit? And let go of our doubt. How do we do that? Well, Unity has this great practice called denials and affirmations. Denial is this letting go of the negative thinking, washing it away, sweeping it away. Merle Fillmore, one of the co-founders of Unity, said, denials are like taking a broom to the floor and just gently sweeping away the thoughts that are no longer serving you, the thoughts that are limiting you. I can't do that. That's not me. That was Jesus. All of those kinds of ideas. Who am I to think that I can be the Christ in the world? So allowing those to go away and then affirming, I am the embodiment of the Christ of God right here and right now. The true light that enlightens everyone has come into the world as me. As Jesus said, those who have seen me have seen the Father. The Father and I are one. Can we join in Jesus in saying those things and believing it, owning it? I think belief is important. But also that sense of wonder, curiosity. You know how kids are always curious about everything? Why is this? What is that? Why does this work? How does that work? What is happening here? But we as adults think we know. We have decided that we know everything. We know how it works. We know what is and what isn't real. We know what is and what isn't possible. How do we know what's possible? We know what's possible by what we have experienced in the past. We limit what is possible by what we have already experienced. And if we haven't experienced, we don't believe it's possible. Is it possible that Trooper Terry could go through time and space and end up in the North Pole? Absolutely. Absolutely. What do we believe is possible? Wonder. I wonder. You know, Mindy Audlin, a licensed teacher who is also running the Unity Center in Evergreen now, has this wonderful practice called What If Up. And that's about what if upping. It's like, well, what if I could be the Christ? What if I truly lived into that reality? What if there were no limits to my experience? What if I could create anything I want to? What if I could travel through time and space? What might that be like? What if? So living in the what if up? And so that's a good practice for us to engage into in that place of wonder. Imagination. You know, isn't it wonderful how children can access that power of imagination until we beat it out of them? I don't beat it out of them, but talk them out of it. Or tell them that that's not possible. So let's recapture that. Let's be in that place of imagination and curiosity and wonder. And also, I think it requires us or invites us into this place of wondrous anticipation, excitement, anticipation, eager anticipation. Just like children who can't go to sleep at night because they know that Santa Claus is going to show up on Christmas morning and bring all this good stuff to them. Everything they ever wanted, everything they ever desired. And they wrote the letter to Santa Claus and said, this is what I want. And Santa Claus shows up on Christmas morning and brings you everything that you asked for. Now, I know everybody didn't have that experience. But just imagine, what if? What if that happened? And can we be every moment in that place of eager anticipation and excitement? I don't remember where I heard it first, but this phrase that goes, I don't know what good is in store for me today, but bring it on. Bring it on, right? So maybe we could approach every morning like that. God, I don't know what good you've got in store for me today, but hey, I am open to it. Bring it on. Can we approach every day like that? And to be in this place of this energy of Advent, where we do celebrate the birth of our way shower, our elder brother, our teacher, Jesus of Nazareth, who embodied that energy, embodied the Christ, and taught us that we are that as well. You are the light of the world, just as I am the light of the world, he said. He taught us that we are that as well. Can we celebrate that? Can we then celebrate the coming of the Christ in and through him, and then celebrate it coming in and through us as well? That's what Advent is really about. And here is the icing on the cake for me. I believe that while Santa may bring us all the goodies, all the stuff that we want or desire, it is the Christ within us that we are awakening to that is the source of all that we truly desire in our hearts. It is the source of our awakening, of what Fillmore said as our salvation from our own limited thinking, from our own darkness. It brings us light. It brings us into the light. It brings us love. It brings us joy. It brings us the peace that Jesus talked about that passes our human comprehension. So it is that connection, that embodiment, that presence that truly brings us and delivers to us everything that we truly desire. So can we embrace that? Can we embrace that and adopt these ideas of belief, believing? Let go of our unbelief. It is who we are. It is what we are. It is what we have come into this world to bring forth and to give birth to. Believe, believe, and be curious. Be curious. How is that going to show up? What if I really believed it? What if I really lived it? And then be in that place of, I don't know all the good. I don't know all the good. I don't know what's going to show up for me today. But bring it on, because I am eagerly anticipating all of it. Yeah? So I encourage us this Advent to reclaim that childlike place. And I also know not everyone experienced that. So maybe it's about generating that childlike place within us. Wonder and curiosity, belief. I think that's all. Thank you.